I am going to be one of the people who actually lives with these children. I can give you a lot of personal experience. I could probably make you cry, and I'll probably have a tough time not crying, but I'm going to try to be clinical today. I will tell you about our experience in 6 minutes or less. It could take 6 years, but I won't keep you that long. Our first experience, and don't ask me why we started this because there's probably a million reasons, but it's probably divine intervention. We adopted a 3-year-old little boy, cutest little boy you can imagine. However, his background was not very cute. He had been living with a biological grandmother. His own 16-year-old mother had been removed into foster care herself. There were 5 other siblings of the mother at home. These kids were tied to beds at night because the mother or the grandmother wanted to go out drinking, and she certainly didn't want the kids getting up and getting into trouble. And they were all under the age of 10. When she came home, she'd be quite angry because alcohol did not agree with her, and she thought it was her job to abuse the children, both sexually, physically. Very traumatic, saw many porno movies by the age of 2, had seen a lot of sexual acts. But at the time he was removed, we have pictures, he was bruised, battered, pretty much a wild little animal. And he was the lucky one because the other 4 did not get removed. She moved to another county and started all over again. We were just lucky because his mom happened to be in foster care and she signed a release. He went into foster care, had an excellent foster care experience. The foster care mother devoted her life to this child for 1.5 years. She intended to adopt him, but she had personal issues that she could not. We were called and said, if you can pick up this little boy in 3 days, he's yours. We were pretty naive. We just thought he was cute. We thought it was great that he didn't cry at all because, wow, we just met him and he seems to like us. Later, we learned about attachment disorder. Seemed kind of hyper and really energetic. Later, we learned about ADHD. It kind of went on from there. We've learned a lot of disorders, a lot of mental health disabilities, but we loved him. He was great. We were excited. Seemed to fit right in. We thought, wow, this has been cool. We're good at this. We'll try it again. He needs a brother. So for some reason, he talked us into an older brother, and you can see who was running the house at this point. We talked to the social worker, and she said, oh, we don't do that. And we're like, no, he's pretty convinced he wants an older brother. Okay. The other thing I learned is once a child, all of our children came through the waiting children list, but once they get in the official book, that's not a good sign because those kids are not very adoptable. And for some reason, there weren't a lot of kids at that time, and they found us a boy who was about 11, and we met with the social worker and we met with the therapist who had seen him for approximately 1 year, met with the foster parents, and believe it or not, the exact words were, there's no bear in the woods in this boy. And we got him and we thought, boy, he doesn't smell very good. Well, he wasn't toilet trained. We took him to get new shoes, and the man at the store said, son, you need to tie those shoes up. And I saw the helpless look and I thought, he does not know how to tie his shoes. I said, I'll tie him. We took him to school and we realized he couldn't spell the word cat, couldn't add 2 + 2. The reports were he was an A and B student, had great social skills. I think we were lied to, frankly. But, and he had been adopted before in return, also not a good sign. It was a tough year. It was an interesting year. There were times when we had no idea what to do. We had him evaluated. We had specialists. The school worked with us. About in 2 years, it got a lot better. Then puberty hit, and it all fell apart again. Today, he's 23 years old. He's been in and out of adult foster care since he was 18 years old. Our goal is to keep him out of prison. We would like him to have a full-time job. It doesn't seem to be likely. He has several disorders, several disabilities. He tries really hard. But for him being with his biological mother for 8 years, and it started the day he came home from the hospital, he was removed because she left him in an apartment crying for several hours. It was too late. And I don't know that there is an easy fix. I don't think there's medicine. I don't think there's a therapy that's going to fix him. Now, during this good period, we felt really good again, and we thought we could do this again. And it is rewarding. You're taking a child that has had no help, no guidance, and you're turning them into something that's better, and you feel really good about it. I thought, you know what, I'd really like to try a girl this time. So they told us, well, there's not a lot of girls because mothers tend to keep their girls. And they said, but if you're willing to take a sibling group, we might have one for you. So, and they said, and these are really good kids. In fact, they're just going to be removed from the parent, or they've been removed there in foster care, but they're just going to go officially on the system. So we'll get them for you before they go in the book. Okay. And they had an older brother that was 13. The girls were 8 and 5. We met them, and you know what? They were extremely sweet children, very articulate, very intelligent, anything you could ask for in a child. The older brother, we were a little concerned about 13. We knew that that's a tough age for any boy. We were a little more concerned when we went to the house one day to interact with the kids, and he came out of a bedroom with 5 other boys, and clearly they had been doing something that was probably drug-related. So we asked more questions. Oh, no, there's no drugs here, no nothing. 6 weeks after he moved into our house with his sisters, we found out he was addicted to chemical inhalants and needed complete residential treatment and ended up going into treatment for the next 5 years. Our girls have done pretty well. Our daughter is 19. She is at college. She's in her 2nd year. She is not able to drive. She has a PCA that lives with her full-time, but she's doing pretty well. We're extremely proud of her. Our 16-year-old daughter is in high school. She's mostly an A student. She takes 9 medications a day, every day, some twice and 3 times a day for anxiety, ADHD. She has asthma. She has several different health issues, but I think if you met her, you'd find it hard to believe. So I guess what I'm saying is, you have to get in there early. It's too late by the time they're 8. It's too late by the time they're 13. These kids need help before they're born. Most of my kids were born to parents who had some type of addiction or were on chemicals of some kind. They were abandoned, abused, neglected. It doesn't go away. Once you damage a mind and a brain and a soul, as I was telling you, my first son that we adopted was tied to a bed. To this day, he's 20 years old. He doesn't sleep in a bed. He sleeps on the couch. He sleeps on the floor. We've had him hypnotized, counseled, medicated. Can't get that boy in a bed. And, this is a long time later, and there's been a lot of intervention, but I don't think we're going to solve that problem. So if you have any questions, we've had good system help. We've had excellent therapists. We've had excellent social workers. I think we've had excellent judges because we've been to court quite a few times. A lot in the last week, as a matter of fact. My son, who was tied to the bed, is 20, and for the last year, he's struggling. He's struggling with meeting his birth family and reconciling what happened to him. He's depressed. He's angry. I don't blame him. It doesn't mean he gets to go out and do bad things, but I don't blame him. So if I can help or answer any questions, I'm here today.